Morning, welcome to the Allotment Gardener's plot at the start of the year. I've got my hands in my pockets because it's about 2 degrees, but with the wind blowing it's actually below zero, so I'm not going to be doing any hard work today. I'm just going to walk you around the plot and tell you what we're doing. We've started this plot off as if it was a brand new plot, even though we have worked on it before. So I'm going to talk you up and down the plot so that you know what you need to do to get yourself started. Right, when we had this plot originally, it's only a half a plot for this particular allotment. When we had it originally there were 12 beds on it. Over time we've used those beds up for different things. The 4 crop rotation system that I've got is going to start off down here, work along into the second bed, and then if you walk down with me I'll talk you through it. So I'm just going to trip over anything. This bed here is not part of the rotation. This is the permanent bed, and it's half filled with strawberries, and we're going to put a load more strawberry plants in there, and half filled with asparagus, which have been growing for some time. That's the reason that the rotation doesn't appear to follow naturally round, because we didn't want to move the asparagus. It takes about 2 or 3 years before you actually start getting a crop off of it. So if we can ignore the third bed there, the third bed on the rotation is the one next to the greenhouse. The greenhouse itself has been set up so that it's all ready to go for the summer. We've got some staging in there, and we'll start growing stuff at home on the windowsills and in the propagators, and then we'll move it into the greenhouse. And as time goes on through the growing year, you'll see that the greenhouse is used quite a lot. Rotation doesn't go literally 1, 2, 3, 4 down the beds. So we've the first and the second bed, then the permanent bed, then the third bed, and then the greenhouse. If we wander further down, take it into the shed. Right, what we've put in here is actually a plastic water tank out of a airing cupboard. That's going to be our pond, and the reason we have a pond, which is full of stones, is so that we can attract frogs, which will hopefully get rid of all the slugs, which we have a lot of, and some of the aphids and the like, the sort of things that we don't want on the plot. So if you can find something to put a small pond in, it's worthwhile. I've put wire around the top of it and some poles in it just to make sure no one stumbles into it. We do have people walking across the plot during the night, believe it or not, which we find out first thing in the morning when we find footprints going through our beds. Around the pond I've put a few daffs in, and I'm going to find something else to put in so that it gives a bit of foliage and cover for the frogs rather than just the bare pond, and it will obviously make it look a bit tidier as well. The other half of this bed is going to be used as our herb bed, and it's just dug over ready for some herbs to be put in there. Probably start them off in the greenhouse and then put them in there. One of the first things that they put on it, and the only thing we've actually paid for, is the shed. It's been here for a number of years now, and it's going to need to be repaired. It's the Allotment Gardener's HQ, as we call it, but it's going to need a new roof put on it. As you can see, the wind has taken the top off of it, and it's going to need a new coat of some sort of protective layer on it, bronze seal or something similar to that. It's very useful. If it's as cold as this and you decide to have filming or digging, you can always pop in the shed. We've got a kettle in there with a little gas burner, so we can always make a cup of tea. Quite a valuable asset. The greenhouse might not look much, but it didn't cost anything. This is one of the 2 that I got for free cycle. First one, even before I built it, someone comes and stole all the aluminium, but the bonus of that was I didn't have all the glass for it. When I got another one off a free cycle, between the 2 of them we've managed to make a greenhouse. It doesn't look much at this time of year, but later on in this series of videos you're going to see it absolutely crammed with tomatoes, aubergines, peppers, chilies. Already got some of those starting off on the windowsill and the propagators at home. Right, at the back of the plot we've got the compost. These 2 beasties are supplied by the council to local residents, and as all my composting gets done down the allotment, they'll be brought down here. Right, we've started off a fruit cage here. We've planted a couple of gooseberries and a couple of raspberries in it, and thrown some old strawberries around the end of it. Got some poles. We haven't got the netting over it at the moment, because if we do get any snow, the weight of the snow quite often damages the netting. So netting's just been dumped in the greenhouse, and we'll get back to that later. Right, here are 4 of the beds that we're going to use for the crop rotation. We're using 8 beds, but it's a 4 bed and the same 4 bed going up the other side, so it's like a big circle. It's actually the same basic system that they used in the Second World War. The 4 beds that we've got are potatoes, roots, brassicas and legumes. There will be overwintering in all 4 of the beds, and I'll explain that in more detail as we go through the year.